Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Raymond Yang. Here are tonight's top stories. A shattered Teletubby statue in Mong Kok and a boy in shock trigger an internet debate. 6 COVID cases in a Kowloon Tong kindergarten trigger fears of a new cluster. And 3 people from the same family have been arrested on suspicion of producing explosives. Netizens were up in arms over a photo which went viral, showing a boy staring in shock at a broken Teletubby statue at a Mong Kok mall. His father paid over $30,000 after his son was accused of breaking the sculpture, but the money was returned when a video put the incident in perspective. Maisie Mok reports.
This photo of a shattered Teletubby figure, which went viral, triggered an online debate. The saga began 2 days ago at the KK Plus store in Mong Kok, when a 5-year-old boy was accused of breaking the 1.8-meter tall statue, which carried a $52,800 price tag. His father was asked to pay the cost price of $33,000. But surveillance footage which emerged later showed that the statue collapsed when the boy leaned in to avoid a person coming towards him. After watching the video, the father said the toy shop was at fault for not fastening the statue properly, although it had done so previously. The incident triggered an online debate, with some netizens blaming the shop for not taking proper precautions. Others were concerned about the psychological scars the incident could leave on the boy.
It is important for the parents to stabilize the children's emotions before resolving the conflicts, because when the incident happens, children can have all different kind of emotions. They may be shocked, they may be anxious, etc. So it would be good if we could stabilize their emotions first, and then afterwards we can think about how can we fix the issues.
A store representative promised to conduct an operational review and train its staff. The parent company, Kowloon International, apologized to the family and refunded the money the father shelled out. Maisie Mok, HKIBC.
Chief Executive Carrie Lam says there are no plans to relax quarantine requirements for inbound travelers, citing the risk of COVID subvariants.
I would say at this point in time that it is very unlikely that during my term there will be more relaxations on the border controls. In other words, we will still have the hotel quarantine. We will still require vaccination before a passenger could board a plane to Hong Kong, and we will still impose the test and hold, whether at the airport or at the hotel for a PCR test, in order to keep Hong Kong safe.
Health officials have detected 3 more COVID infections linked to the cluster at a McDonald's restaurant in Tai Kung. There are also fears of a potential outbreak at a kindergarten in Kowloon Tong. Joanna Ho reports.
Hong Kong today reported 250 new COVID infections, 34 of which were imported. They included 3 more cases of the Omicron subvariant BA.2.12.1 from a McDonald's outlet in Tai Kung, taking the tally in that cluster to 8. One was a 33-month-old baby boy who was found to be positive last Monday and sent to hospital the following day. He was discharged last Wednesday. Also tested positive were 5 students from 2 classes and 1 teacher at the St. Catherine's International Kindergarten in Kowloon Tong. Principal Medical and Health Officer Albert Au said the affected students hadn't been to school since Friday, but the teacher who teaches both classes worked until yesterday before she tested positive. The 2 classes, one in the morning and the other in the afternoon, will be suspended until Friday. The authorities also identified 1 more case linked to the Lang Kwai Fong Hotel cluster, in which a couple were found to be infected with the Omicron subvariant. The patient is a police officer who talked to the man infected earlier. Joanna Ho, HKIBC.
3 people from the same family have been arrested on suspicion of producing explosives and inciting others to cause bodily harm. Officers seized 35 kilos of dangerous chemicals from their home and a mini storage unit.
Both TATP and HMTD are powerful explosives which, even in small quantities, can result in significant explosions, resulting in death or serious injury. Both TATP and HMTD have been used around the world by terrorist organizations.
Police said a 31-year-old suspect threatened judges and police officers through social media groups. He also allegedly incited others to attack police headquarters with homemade explosives. Police are investigating whether the other two suspects were involved in criminal activities. Former law professor Benny Tai has been sentenced to 10 months in jail for breaching election rules. Tai was not a candidate in the 2016 Legislative Council elections, but he advertised in 2 newspapers to promote the Thunder Go strategy to maximize the winning chances of pro-democratic candidates, and illegally incurred $250,000 in election expenses. The judge shortened the prison term from 18 months because Tai had pleaded guilty. He has been remanded in custody since March last year in connection with the national security case. Charges against 2 other co-defendants were dropped, but they were bound over for 12 months. Retired Cardinal Joseph Zen and 5 others have denied violating the Society's ordinance. Zen, Barrister Margaret Ng, Senior Denise Ho, and 3 co-defendants were at West Kowloon Magistracy, accused of failing to register the now dissolved 612 Humanitarian Relief Fund as a society. The defense challenged the prosecution's bid to call 17 witnesses, since the maximum penalty is only $10,000. The case was adjourned to August the 9th. 5 defendants were granted bail, while former lawmaker Sid Ho remains in prison on another case. They were trustees of the fund, which helped those arrested during the anti-extradition protests. The cross-harbour section of the East Rail Line encountered its first service disruption this morning, just 9 days after it began operating. Rush hour passengers expressed disappointment, and many were late for work. Here's Joanna Ho.
The MTR Corporation announced a service disruption on the cross-harbour section of the East Rail Line at around 9 a.m. after a technical fault was found on a train. The driver noticed the problem when he was about to change direction to Sheungshou after arriving at Admiralty Station. Passengers were asked to get off in Admiralty. In the other direction, commuters wanting to cross the harbour to reach Hong Kong Island had to get off at Hong Kong. They were advised to take other routes, such as the Tsuen Wan line. While some decided to wait, others switched to the Tuen Ma line to go to East Tsim Sha Tsui Station. From there, they could walk to Tsim Sha Tsui Station to get on the Tsuen Wan line. During the disruption, the waiting time for trains between Sheungshou and Hong Kong was 6 minutes, while it was 15 minutes between Hong Kong and Admiralty. The malfunction made many late for work. This man said it took him an extra 30 minutes to reach his workplace. He felt disappointed, saying it was too soon for a new section to have technical issues. This man said some commuters might lose confidence in the new extension, as the malfunction occurred just days after it began operating on May 15th. East Rail services gradually returned to normal at around 9:30 a.m. after the faulty train was removed from the main track. Joanna Ho, HKIBC.
U.S. President Joe Biden has walked back on his Taiwan remarks that appeared to revert decades of a U.S. policy known as strategic ambiguity. This came as he met leaders of the Quad Alliance in Tokyo to discuss security in the Indo-Pacific region and beyond. Sarah Wong reports.
Very good, beautiful hotel.
It's only the second in-person Quad summit in 8 months, but 2 of those who attended in September have been replaced. Newcomers Anthony Albanese of Australia and Japan's Fumio Kishida huddled with their American and Indian counterparts in Tokyo. As a war raged in Ukraine and concerns over China grew, freshly minted Prime Minister Albanese renewed Canberra's commitment to the informal coalition.
The new Australian government's priorities align with the Quad agenda, taking action on climate change and building a stronger and more resilient Indo-Pacific region.
And we've shown the Quad isn't just a passing fad. We mean business. We're here to get things done for the region, and I'm proud of what we're building together.
Separately, Biden met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but made little progress in changing New Delhi's neutral stance on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Geopolitical watchers are also increasingly bewildered by Biden's foreign policy stance after he pledged to go to Taiwan's defense if China invades. The strong language infuriated Beijing and forced the Pentagon to clear the air. Biden wrapped up the diplomatic saga by clarifying that Washington has not abandoned strategic ambiguity. Taiwan's de facto ambassador to the United States, Xiao Bi-kim, was also told that Washington's policy on the island is here to stay. Sarah Wong, HKIBC.
Foreign Minister Wang Yi has welcomed United Nations Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet on her arrival in Guangzhou. Bachelet is the first UN Human Rights High Commissioner to visit China since 2005 and hopes to enhance cooperation with Beijing. She plans to visit Xinjiang in the wake of reports that members of Muslim ethnic minorities there have been imprisoned. China has repeatedly denied mistreating Uyghurs and other minority groups. The Hong Kong stock market closed lower today, with the Hang Seng Index shedding 1.8%. Tech shares led the slide as concerns of weak corporate earnings discouraged investors. JD.com plunged 5.3%. But there was good news for auto firms after Beijing said it would cut car purchase taxes. Great Wall Motor climbed 5.1% and Geely Auto gained 3.5%. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng ended today down by 357 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Tencent lost $8.80. Meituan was down $8.10, while BYD Company was down $15.60. Alibaba lost $1.50, but China Mobile picked up 40 cents. To the forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar, the euro's at 8.41. Pound sterling 9.81, while the Australian dollar at 5.55. Over in Europe, the London FTSE is currently down by nearly 6 points. Holiday rental company Airbnb is shutting its home booking business on the mainland at the end of July. No reason was given, but COVID may have influenced its decision as the number of visitors to China plunged. Mainlanders can still use the firm to book holiday homes abroad. Since 2016, about 25 million people accessed Airbnb's 150,000 listings in China, which accounted for 1% of its business. The San Francisco-based firm is the latest U.S. internet platform leaving China because of censorship or operational issues. On to the weather now. Cloudy with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 24 and 27 degrees. The sun will peak out on Thursday, but I expect more rain until the weekend. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Tuesday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Raymond Young. Thanks for watching. Good night.